Struggling to pay her bills, Stephanie Botterill decided at 53 years old to end her life. In a suicide letter to her son, she said, "Don't blame yourself for me ending my life. It's my life. The only people to blame are the government." Stephanie was affected by the government's so-called bedroom tax and had her benefits cut by £20 a week for 2 spare rooms. Her son Stephen told the Sunday People newspaper that she couldn't cope. She was fine before this bedroom tax. It was dreamt up in London by people living in offices and big houses. They have no idea the effect it has on people like my mum. Local councillor David Jamieson knows the family.
This poor lady, Stephanie, she, because her daughter had moved out, she was facing what's called the bedroom tax at 25% of her rent. And I believe she just felt she just couldn't afford it anymore. She had so little income coming in. She was paying it, but had nothing left to live on.
Downing Street aren't commenting on what they say is a personal matter, but this death will inevitably lead to calls for the so-called bedroom tax to be scrapped. Now, the government has already made some concessions, exempting armed forces personnel and also foster carers from the policy. But for many, it's still not enough.
We've got to oppose this tax.
In the last few months, there have been protests up and down the country from people who believe the policy is wrong. And the Sunday People, which has been campaigning against the so-called bedroom tax, is now calling on the government to drop the policy.
What I hope they do is that they understand that the bedroom tax is not working, it's unfair and unjust, and it's having an awful effect on people out there. And what I'd hope they would do now is they would suspend it, they would review it, and then they would replace it.
Now the pressure's on this man, Welfare Secretary Ian Duncan Smith. He still believes the policy is fair and that taxpayers and people living in overcrowded houses shouldn't subsidise spare bedrooms. Sophie Ridge, Sky News in Westminster.